Our target student, Brad, in the UK, uploaded a video of him working on Who'll Stop the Rain, and it gives me an opportunity to bring up something that is that is easy to mess up, and that is when you have bass notes that connect chords. Like I'm on a G chord for 4 beats, and then an E minor chord for 4 beats. I'm in 4/4 time. So when you have bass notes that if you're going to put in passing bass notes, you have to make sure you carefully count how many beats, how many bass notes you're going to play. You're probably going to play them as quarter notes, and then you make sure that you started on the right beat. So let's say I'm going, for example, in Who'll Stop the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Cosmos Factory, 1970, I hope? Probably. Anyway, in Who'll Stop the Rain, there's one bass note that connects G and E minor, and it's an F sharp. One bass note, that means it has to be played on the last beat of the measure before you have to be on the E minor. If there had been 2 bass notes that we were going to use in there, we'd want to make sure we started 2 beats before the end, which would be beat 3 of that measure. So as an example, if I'm going to go from G to E minor, I'm going to put that F sharp in the bass on the 4th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that on beat 1, I'm on the E minor. Now, let's say I'm going from G to C. My bass note for G is G, obviously. My bass note for C is C, on the 5th string at the 3rd fret. Well, I'm going to have a couple of notes to connect these, A and B. So now, if I play 4 beats of G, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then play an A and a B, and then get to C, I just had 2 extra beats in there because I put the A and the B in at the end. I finished the measure of G. So passing bass notes have to take their time out of the measure before the new chord happens. You with me there? So if I have 2, I have an A and a B. Open 5th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string. So if I'm going from G to C, I've got to start this not on the 4th beat, but on the 3rd beat, because those 2 bass notes will take up the 3rd beat and the 4th beat. So I'm going to go from G to, do that again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we could do the same thing going backwards from C to G. I'm going to play 2 measures of G and 2 measures of C, and then 2 measures of G and 2 measures of C. And it's always going to be then in the measure before the change. So 2 measures of G, I'd play 1 full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the 2nd measure, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Now I'm at C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So here that is without all the narration. G's and C's back and forth with 2 bass notes connecting them, which means they have to come in on beats 3 and 4 of the measure before the change. I'll let you digest that for a second. Did that make sense? If not, pause me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go to E minor this time. So just count out your bass notes very carefully and make sure that start them in the right place to make sure that they end at the right place, right at the beginning of the next measure.